So recently, another great volley has been fired in the epic battle of whether Space Marines can or should be female, with the YouTube channel, the Template Institute, throwing out some controversial comments on the topic of whether or not space exists within the canon of 40k for such an outlandish concept. So in the interest of kicking the anthill,
Gazillions of them, and they're coming after me.
here's the thing about Lady Space Marines. According to me, the canon of Warhammer 40k incontrovertibly establishes that according to the process by which Adeptus Astartes are made, they must be biologically male. Period, and end of story. In my opinion, this isn't really up for any sort of debate. It's just what the lore says. If you want your headcanon to state otherwise, or model your miniatures differently, that's fine, but ultimately unofficial. It's nice that the universe of Warhammer is formulated in such a way that accepts people's headcanon, and while that doesn't make it technically correct, people should be free to do whatever they want with their toy soldiers, with the knowledge that it is not represented in the canon as gospel. But the facts of the 41st millennium are not immutable physical properties. GW changes them all the time, so the question is why this one in particular is treated as so sacred. In my opinion, the only reason this matters is that what Space Marines look like matters a lot more than any other faction in the game. Space Marines are in every starter set, every video game, and basically every novel. And I'm sure when Henry Cavill gets off his butt and starts working with Amazon, they're gonna be in that show too. They are the face of Warhammer 40k, a vast universe of infinite diversity and limitless possibility. So making that face unquestionably and incontrovertibly male is just kind of weird and inconsistent. Now, I don't think anyone is in favor of retconning the process to suddenly have worked on women this whole time, and actually half the Astartes in fiction were female all along. At least I'm not in favor of that. The franchise is old enough that diving back in to change all the facts would basically destroy it from the inside. But there's no reason that it couldn't be added in the present of the narrative. What should have happened is the addition of this concept alongside the rollout of Primaris Space Marines. Canon was already being actively updated at that point, and this would have been a simple inclusion. But ultimately it didn't, and that's sad. So for now, we're left with a canon that does not support the existence of female Space Marines. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'd like to see that change in the future, but we'll probably need to wait for another big new narrative direction like the one that was set up back in 7th edition. Now, I know some folks in the comment section are going to call out Adeptus Sororitas as the stand-in for female Marines, and I think those comments are kind of missing the point. The point isn't that there are absolutely no female characters in the game. Compared to some franchises, Warhammer is actually doing okay on that front. The point is that Marines are the face of the franchise, and groups like Sororitas are pretty far removed from that initial point of contact. If Sororitas had the same universal representation across almost all 40k media, I think this would be a very different discussion, but they don't. To someone brand new to the universe, they're basically expanded universe content. And the fact that the franchise asks prospective new recruits to dig so deeply into the lore to find a character who looks remotely like them is problematic to attracting more players. More players is more better, so I think we should all be in favor of something that gets more people in the door. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. I'm sure the comment section of this video is gonna be just fine. Everyone's gonna be very civil down there.